Hello, welcome to week 3 of BPL's 12th season. We are currently 2-0 at first seed, and doing pretty well with a +8 differential. This week we are up against Hazy, whose team consists of a Terra Landorus and Terra Bronzong that can turn into any Terra types. I know I forgot to mention that in previous videos, but it is open Terra. We are in the Tachyon Cutter division, and without further ado, let's get started with everything going on. Lando, Greninja, Necrozma, Iron Hands, Iron Moth, Bronzong, Mega Diancie, Whimsicott, and Porygon. I am not anticipating either of these two. If either of them comes, this will be Sunny Day Whimsicott with Solar Beam on Necrozma. Let's get into what I am covering for and what I am anticipating. First off and foremost, I don't know what this Bronzong's Terra is going to be. I can't see a reason to get rid of the steel typing. But I do expect Trick Room, I do expect Gyro Ball, I do expect Body Press or Iron Defense. But it could also be Psychic Noise to worry about. Substitute Diancie. This thing walls the fuck out of Diancie, and it is impossible for it to break. The best thing I could do to it is scout out its item with the first attack, and then, just pummel my way through it through Stealth Rock tips and just constant damage. Mystical Fire exists, but I can't be calling that every single time because eventually she's going to call my bluff. Bronzong, just a massive wall for this team. It's going to be really hard to break through. Next up on the list is Iron Hands. I am very confident that this thing comes. If it doesn't come, her team would be weaker because of it. Swords Dance, probably max HP, could be max special defense, but could also be max attack. And the shenanigans are going to be probably Swords Dance, because it allows her to bypass, like, a Malignant Chain proc into a Swords Dance, which means she is cured of both poison and confusion, which means I have a monster on my side, on her side of the field to deal with. The only Pokemon I have to take hits from this is obviously Petarant. So spoiler alert, Petarant is coming. I do expect Drain Punch or Close Combat. Not really sure what it's going to be, but I do think it'll be Fighting Move, Earthquake, Thunder Punch. I think that's the strongest combination of moves that can come. This thing in Trick Room would be an absolute menace to my team. It has a minimum of Brave Nature, 94 speed, so I'm going to be keeping that in mind with my prep. And this could also be Roselli Berry or Leftovers or Covered Cloak, Clear Amulet. There's a lot of things it could be, but I do believe Lum is the most threatening, based on what I've brought for this. Next up on the list is the very much so predicted Choice Scarf Landorus. It could also be a bulky Landorus that's Terra Water. But I do think it'll be Terra Flying or Terra Water Landorus, probably with a Choice Scarf. Leaning more towards Flying, just because Flying Terra Blast with Stone Edge U-Turn Earthquake is pretty damn threatening into my team. I think this thing will be fast enough to get ahead of +1 Quavel, I don't know whether it'll be bulk or attack, but I'm planned for attack. Fourth on the list of what mons I think she's going to bring. Really, at this point, I think it's just like the 3 most threatening mons on her team that could come to this match. Altaria, Mega Altaria, could be a variety of things. It'll be Hyper Voice or Moonblast. I don't know why that's not. Because of the Pixelate ability. Earthquake is possible on a physical set. I have here the spread it would be if it were physical. It could also be max HP instead of attack or some split of EVs there. Not really sure. It could also just be a special set with high firepower with Draco Meteor, Hyper Voice, and like a variety of special moves that this thing has at its disposal, which are all pretty strong. But I have methods to deal with both a physical and special set. So it's not the biggest concern on her team. These 3 are significant, much more significant. But yeah, like it could be physical or special, and I won't really know until how the match progresses. I do kind of expect Greninja, but I'm not really sure what the Greninja will be. It's possible she leaves this behind for something else, like Necrozma. I think it'll be like a type of mixed Life Orb set, but I don't know if it'll be Protean or Battle Bond. I'm completely on the fence of this. I do think Poison Dark fighting and water is a good combination of moves to have into my team. But I'm really not sure what this thing is going to do exactly, because it might want to run a U-turn, if it wants to run a physical set, if it wants to run a special set, if it wants to run a mixed set. I have no idea what this thing's going to do, and I'm pretty nervous about it. So if it does come, I expect it to come just because it's got so much versatility, and I won't be able to predict what I can do. Iron Moth is the final mon I expect to come. I do expect Heavy Duty Boots, but it could be Shuka. I think Heavy Duty Boots is slightly better because I do want to get rocks up this game, especially if I see it on her team preview. Fiery Dance, Discharge, Energy Ball, Sludge Wave covers literally everything on my team. It doesn't really match up fantastically against Ting Lu, obviously, because it's Ting fucking Lu. But like, Energy Ball does enough damage to the point where it's just something, right? A Fiery Dance into an Energy Ball could hurt really, really bad. And chip it down, especially if I'm already chipped from like Bronzong or whatever. Getting into what I am bringing this week, predicting these 6, kind of covering for a little bit of Necrozma, a little bit of Whimsicott. I don't even have a single thought about Porygon. We are starting off with Substitute Diancie with Encore, Moonblast, Diamond Storm. The combination of Moonblast and Diamond Storm covers basically everything on her team, with the exception of Necrozma and this fucker. And like obviously the correct Terra Lando, right? But like, we don't really anticipate breaking through her entire team with Diancie, just because Diancie is really, really bad against Bronzong. I want to substitute and Encore Bronzong into clicking Trick Room, so that I am able to fire off some Moonblast or Diamond Storms and really whittle this thing down. Because I do think Trick Room is pretty strong against my team, even when I have this. Like, Iron Hands basically just beats it. But yeah. Oh, well, while we're on Ting Lu, I'm running 3 attacks in Stealth Rock this week. No Ruination. We have Throat Chop to catch potential switch-ins to Hyper Voice Mega Altaria. Along with Psychic Noise Bronzong, though I doubt it will ever be clicking Psychic Noise in a position where Ting Lu is on the field, or when Ting Lu is... This thing will never switch into Ting Lu. Has no reason to. It's always a Diancie switch-in. Fully specially defensive, just because it takes hits from the majority of her team, including Iron Moth, Bronzong. Body presses might hurt a bit. Whimsicott, like, exists. It could be a special Lando. I don't think it'll be a special Lando. It's possible. It could be special Mega Altaria. If it is, we have Empoleon to deal with it, and if it's special Necrozma, like, it never breaks Ting Lu, unless it's like a sunny day on Whimsicott, Solar Beam on Necrozma. Even then. Like I said, we have options to deal with both physical and special Mega Altaria. We have Ice Beam and Empoleon with a Shuka Berry, just in case we need to catch a straight Earth Power or Earthquake from a physical Altaria or a special Landorus. We can also take a physical Earthquake from Landorus, but I'd really prefer not to, though I don't think Lando comes in on this because it has competitive as its ability. If it does, and it doesn't Terra, or if it's Terra Flying, it gets blasted by Ice Beam, and I survive whatever the hell it wants to do. Unless it runs super powered for whatever reason. Like, this thing. Oh, I kind of revealed that. Well, I could just blip that out, right? I don't want to show off this yet, because this is really, really funny. We want to set up and sweep with Weavile this week. So we're running Clear Amulet Moxie with Aqua Step, Terra Blast Close Combat, and Swords Dance. Ideally, I set up a Swords Dance somewhere. I don't really remember exactly where I want to do. But if it comes in on the correct Scarf Lando's move, like if it commits to an Earthquake, I should be able to take an Earthquake, set up a Swords Dance, and start mowing things down. Or like if I come in on like this thing, Greninja, right? And it's like not anything crazy. There aren't great places to set up Swords Dances, but I'm confident I'll be able to set something up, right? This combination of these moves hit the entirety of her team really, really well, with the exception of Necrozma, which, I mean, like, if I'm at plus, like, 4, or, excuse me, plus 3, like, Necrozma shouldn't really be taking hits from me anyways. But yeah, did set up Sweeper Weavile this week. We have just enough speed to get ahead of max speed Altaria, anticipating a Dragon Dance set. Finally on the list, before the Piece of Resistance, we have our Toxic Petrarunt, kind of from week 1, except this one has Nightshade instead of, like, Malignant Chain. This is just for Bronzong, because we don't deal damage to Bronzong with the Psychic move, or Poison move, and it just does more than Shadow Ball slightly. So yeah, it works well for the majority of our team. We're probably never clicking Nightshade over the other 3 moves, but we could. And then, yeah, like, leftovers just to keep my HP up, because I do plan on taking some Earthquakes from Iron Hands. And Terra Ground, just in case she doesn't bring, like, Greninja, right? And I can have some reason to do that, like if something goes horribly wrong with Quaquaval. But last but not least, absolutely not least, is Air Balloon Weavile with Pickpocket to steal with enough defensive EVs so that I can switch in on Stealth Rocks while Stealth Rocks are up on a Scarfed Landorus and steal the Choice Scarf from living an Adamant max attack Scarfed Lando U-turn after Rocks. Like, I know that was a jumble of words in that sentence, but this is just hilarious. Because as soon as the Scarf is gone on Lando, it stops being a massive threat to my team. And it, like, way better than, like, being like, okay, I'm going to try to click knockoff on them. That's not happening, right? So, like, that's going to be hilarious. We will be Scarfed Weavile after we take that. We have 60 extra attacks, because that was left over from being faster than Greninja. And, like, it's just, like, good moves. We can knock off whatever item happens to come our way. We can Pursuit Trap the Bronzong if it's not Colberberry. Like, Pursuit Trap anything else that we need to. Like, if we switch in on a Scarf Lando Earthquake, it has to switch, so we can always Pursuit until it leaves. And, finally, in the 4th move slot, I don't really ever plan on clicking this, but I did say I was threatened by Sunny Day Whimsicott. So, hey, Rain Dance, boosts Quaquaval's Aqua Steps, a little extra damage there. I don't think I'm ever clicking it, but if Whimsicott comes, if Necrozma comes, then they set up Sun, then hey, what do you know? We can Scarf Rain Dance and sacrifice this thing as a little maneuver. But that is the team this week. Let's take a look at the matchup preview. And, by the way, not what I was expecting. I really thought Iron Moth was going to come, and I really was kind of not 100% prepped for Necrozma, as you might have been able to surmise from the amount of times I said it doesn't really cover Necrozma. So, like, that was a little bit of a issue to see, but I was pretty confident that it would be, like, a Focus Sash type of lead, and I wanted to kind of lead around that. But also I had to respect the option of Greninja lead and Mega Altaria lead if she just wants to get that right out of the gate. Like, there's so many options, and I was just like, I mean, Greninja's like what I'm used to seeing people with Greninja lead, right? So, without further ado, I'm going to take a little sip of my water, and we are going to start the hunt. Starting off, I thought, okay, it's probably going to be Greninja, because we can see that it is Terra Water Landorus. And, like, if it's a Landorus, we might be able to force something happening. I just assume mainly it's going to be Greninja lead, though. She also has Terra Fairy Bronzong, so there's that to watch out for here, too. But this is pretty much always going to be a Terra Lando right off the bat. We get our little competitive boost, forcing a Terrestrialization from her and forcing a little bit of an Earthquake action, which we are able to get Lunagaron in on. And like I thought, it is probably Scarf. That damage confirms it. And we are going right into Petrarunt on this thing. And unfortunately, we get paralyzed instantly. That's a 10% chance, which really sucks. Because now, if this thing isn't min speed, we are slower than it after the para, and it is not in fact min speed, so that sucks. I'm going to throw the Toxic up, and it is, in fact, Lumberry, which is even worse, because now I really need to just bank everything on this Toxic, like going through with the paralysis, and this thing hitting itself in Confusion. Fortunately, we do catch a break there with the Confusion, and we are able to survive another Earthquake now. Perhaps I should have attacked, but I decide that Parting Shotting is probably attacked or recovering. But I want to get Diancie in here to, like, threaten this out and, like, bring in Bronzong. I do go for a Moonblast just to keep her honest here, and probably not the best idea, but we get a nice little special attack drop. I'm anticipating, like, Trick Room still at this point, but it's not Trick Room, it's Body Press, and I just encore it into it so I can get Weavile in for free. I probably made a misplay there, but it is what it is. I could have just gone straight into Weavile and whatever. I did a calc and was like, okay, this could be Roselli Berry, and, like, if it is, it survives my Terra Fairy Fairy Blast. But I forgot it was Lumberry. I am playing on a little bit of sleep deprivation this game, but I don't really think that's, like, the reason for my bad play at all. I think I'm just pooping. Like, it's a bad decision, like, yeah, see, duh. I realized immediately, like, I made a mistake. But it's not, like, I don't think I made the wrong call. I CC'd just in case this came in, and it didn't. She let it go down. And we get our U-turn pickpocket! Let's go! So we are now Scarf Weavile. I don't want anything to fucking do with this. I'm going straight into Empoleon, because this thing is pretty much walled by it, unless it's, like, physical low kick. I just roosted to see if it was going to be low kick, and it wasn't. It's just some crazy-ass hazard set with taunt. And, yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool set. Scald's a great ring, because she does, in fact, get the burn on my fucking Weavile. So that sucks. I've gotten 30% burn on the first instance, and I've gotten 10% parried. So we are now on a timer with our Weavile and also burnt. So this is just a shitty situation to be in. But I'm going to get as many Swords Dances off as I can, which is 1 because I will die to a Scald plus a burn chip. If I hadn't gotten burned right away, I got burned on like the second or third one, I would have had a little more HP to work with and maybe gotten a second Swords Dance off, but unfortunately, due to the burn, this Necrozma does not die after the Life Orb recoil, which means I still have to deal with it. I thought about going Weavile here, but I felt as though I saw that Pursuit, like, might not kill. So, I saw that Pursuit wouldn't kill if it didn't switch. Excuse me. And, I just didn't want to take that risk, because, like, that was the only move I had revealed. And if I went for a knockoff, like, it's so easy for her to just get, like, either of these two in, and then I'm stuck into knockoff. And neither of them take enough damage against it. So it's, like, really weird. So I go Ting Lu because I'm like, to hell with it. Let's just kill this thing. And it brings out the X-Scissor, which really sucks. But I'm like, alright, damn, that sucks. You know? Like, shit. Here I'm going to go into Empoleon, just predicting whatever. And it is going to start setting up D-Dances, which is a little problematic. But yeah, we go for an Ice Beam, get the chip, and... But, yeah, that's going to be a bulky enough Altaria to be able to take a Ice Beam and a half. She did do a calc here to see that, she obviously lived an Ice Beam, or a Flash Cannon. And she wanted to get the second D-Dance off just in case I was Shuka. So, unfortunately, this Earthquake is going to take out my Empoleon through the Shuka Berry. I bring out Weavile just because I want to threaten this the hell out, because I am actually faster than this after a couple of D-Dances with the Scarf, because I'm Scarf to outspeed Greninja, and it just happened that I assume, like, she probably wasn't max speed on this. So, like, yeah, it did actually end up forcing out the Altaria, which was really, really cool. But unfortunately, she predicts correctly as to which move I choiced myself into. And I'm just going to try to go for Icicle Crash flinches. I don't get it. So it's like, alright, whatever, that's fine. At this point, the battle is pretty much lost because I do not have a way to break through this Bronzong with anything other than Tinglu, and she is always, always, always going to switch out the Bronzong because this is her win con versus Diancie at this point, because Diancie does outspeed both of these, and I'm just going to play for differential at this point. So I am going to reveal at this point the Heavy Slam and take out the Altaria for a little bit of extra differential management. But, of course, the Landorus is going to come in here, lower my attack, and hit me with an Earthquake, which I do see probably 2-hit KOs me, which kind of sucks. And she goes for U-turn. Now, if I had decided to go crazy and, say, play for the out where she doesn't Earthquake me, because that was a really great U-turn, if I had played for the out there, I could have potentially picked up one more kill on either Bronzong or Lando, though I would have taken the, I believe there are spikes up. Yeah, there are spikes. I don't know why you can't see them, but, like, there are spikes up. But, like, yeah, I would have maybe outsped this. I don't know if it was minus speed or not, because, like, it could be Trick Room, but the way the Iron Hands was being played, I wasn't 100% confident that it was going to do anything besides just finish me off. And unfortunately, we are going to lose 2-0 to Hazy to end our little winning streak that we had going on. Very unfortunate for week 3, but we are still 2-1 at +6 differential. And yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? Like, this thing's just like a monster defensively, and there was only so much I could do to it. Like, it's immune to spikes. The Stealth Rock chip is like nothing if I factor in the leftovers, which it wasn't. It was probably Culverberry. But hey, I don't think she ever planned on terrestrializing this thing to begin with. Unless, like, Moltres came, right? Moltres plus Weavile. I don't know. I think Lando is always the correct Montera. She played great. I was a little sleep deprived. It made my decisions not perfect, but I'm not absolutely not going to take that away from her. Her prep was just really, really good. Like, Lum was fantastic on... Like, it was my worst case scenario. I was like, I can only do so much against this. And I ended up getting parried, which really sucked because I would have been faster than it otherwise. But it's still, like, 2-hit KOs me after recover with Earthquake. So it's like, there's only so much I can do. I think this was kind of a tough matchup for me. It wasn't, like, that bad, but, like, her prep was just really good. And she played her Altaria really well. Like, I didn't necessarily have to sack this. I could have maybe gotten a recover off, but there's no guarantee that this... Like, I think Petrant is 212 speed. If this was, like, 100 or something, like, if we go into Teambuilder, like, I think if we just... Okay, maybe not 23, though. If it's... Oh, maybe... Whatever. 102. I was probably faster than it after a para, which kind of sucks. But yeah, like, it is what it is. I mean, we're not going to win every single match, right? So, like, if we lose one here and there, that's fine. I think this was a good opponent to lose to. Like, she absolutely played this really, really well. Like, this Greninja was crazy. Like, the Scald was just such a great ring, because it covered, like, Tinglu. It covered, it burned this. Like, it was a brilliant... It really just was such a great ring. And, like, Empoleon really can't threaten it. So, like, she knew that. And, like, her prep was absolutely... Like, extra... I thought it was going to be Brick Break as a physical what's-his-face. But it was extra... Like, it was just such good prep from her. That I really can't be mad about losing this in any way, shape, or form. Especially when I was able to narrow it down to a 2-0 loss. But yeah, that is week 3. Unfortunately, we are no longer undefeated, and I am obviously pooping this video out really, really late at night. because shit, man, I have been busy. This is week 9 of BPL, so like the season's finishing this week. I have to make sure to win for reasons I will disclose in the week 9 video. But like, it's also the last week of my college classes, which, I mean, I just finished up stuff like the other day, but like, I still had to like go do other stuff, so it is what it is. But like, I've just been busy and bored and doing other shit. Not so much bored, but I've had other shit I wanted to do for a while I had classes going on, and I finally got around to doing it yesterday. This, that, the other thing, it's all excuses, really. I will be definitely, uploading at the regular time of 4 p.m. on Thursday next week. I do have to concern myself with Christmas a little bit the day before, but yeah, I can't guarantee that it's uploaded at 4 p.m. on Thursday next week, because that's the 26th. I may end up recording it on the 26th, and then I need to edit the video, which takes like half an hour. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, I am very, very thankful that you watched the whole thing. I'm sorry I couldn't win this week. I'm hoping to do better next week. Next week we do have a slightly better matchup. And, yeah. I will catch y'all around. Have a good one.